I'm more than happy to talk to a group of any people who will have me, but usually they protest me.
Hello everyone, welcome to the conversation. On this YouTube channel we're going to be reacting to a lot of videos from all over the place, and we're going to be kind of dissecting them and having a conversation about it. I don't want it to be just be one of those YouTube channels where I react to a video, upload, react to video, upload, react to video, rinse and repeat. I want us to be able to have an actual conversation below. I do love reading the comments, and I want to see what you guys think about whatever is being displayed or whatever the topic is for that day. I'm not always going to be doing reaction type videos, but I am going to be doing a good amount of them. Today we're going to be reacting to basically Ben Shapiro going at it with someone who's in favor of abortion and transgenderism. So without further ado, if you guys like what you see, please subscribe and go to the comment sections below to comment and join the conversation. But anyway, without further ado, let us begin.
So, how do you say that some people don't have privilege when you basically just said that trans people aren't valid? They're not a thing. They're just girls pretending to be boys or boys pretending to be girls.
Okay. Oh, someone's excited. Okay.
It's biological, but gender is a completely different thing.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex. So.
It's not completely disconnected, but it's still a cultural thing. It's still from society.
Okay. No, it is not in the mind. Okay, you're not a man if you think you're a man. And I didn't say pretending, or if I did, I shouldn't have said pretending. Let me amend.
You said playing.
Okay, I said a boy who thinks he's a girl. That's the usual phraseology I use. Not playing. I usually say a boy who thinks he's a girl or a girl who thinks he's a boy, which is technically what we're talking about here.
Right.
As far as the actual psychological issues at play, it used to be called gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. Now they call it gender dysphoria. The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true. Okay, and I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. You're still a human being, and you're a human being with an issue that I wish you Godspeed in dealing with in whatever way you see fit. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should not be accepted because they don't really fit into either place? They can't just
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
Where's that written though? Okay.
In the name Boy Scouts. Because this is a very because for all of human history, boy meant boy and girl meant girl. Boy did not mean girl.
People are very much into this culture.
And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose?
He's right. Okay, I just want to intercede on this one part. I think we kind of have there's this thing going on where it's just like we want the freedom to do whatever we want the freedom to do whatever we want to be called whatever we want, and even though we have those freedoms, to force those things upon someone else, that's when the problem kind of starts getting in the way. Where I have to start pretending and say to you like, oh, because you want me to call you a girl, I must call you a girl. It almost reminds me of the 1984 book, George Orwell, where it's just kind of like we have to change our vocabulary, we have to change what we think, we have to change how we speak, because and like I said, I am in no way some guy that loves politics. I don't even consider myself left. I don't consider myself right either. I know a lot of people would look at me and be like, "Oh, well, sounds to me like you're leaning on towards the right." I don't really like to classify myself. I think either way you look at it, politics is just a whole thing in and of itself in general. But long story short, I do definitely agree with what he's saying, because what it eventually is going to lead to is that, well, I don't call you what you want me to call you, so you're going to start calling me out. And not only that, you feel a certain way, but facts, as I've heard him say before in, other things, facts don't care about your feelings. You can say that you're a girl, even you're really a boy, if that's what you want to believe, fine, but that doesn't necessarily make it true. That's just the facts. So let's get back to it.
Okay, if I redefine our terms, no, yes, that's right. Men and women are a completely different thing. This is true. Have you ever met a man or a woman? They're completely different.
Completely different thing. You can't just say you're a cat. It's not a thing. It's genders. It's not saying you're.
Okay, why is that? I don't understand. Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are. Okay, because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So.
I'm 22, so I'm probably young and naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60?
Why?
Because it,
Because I'm 22. Because I'm 22, right?
And why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
it's not the same as gender. You can't just.
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
You can still legally change it. People recognize.
You can't legally change your age, by the way.
Obviously, you can change your name, you can change your sex, you can change your identity.
Just because you can do things legally doesn't mean that they are correct biologically. You could do lots of things in the past that were incorrect biologically and correct legally. For a long period of time in the United States, sterilization of the mentally ill took place. That didn't make it okay. Skinner versus Oklahoma. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote the decision.
Right. I still don't understand how you're accepting these children that are.
It's not a matter of open-minded and accepting. I want them to get treatment that they see fit, but that's not involving me. The idea behind the transgender movement as a civil rights movement is the idea that all of their problems would just go away if I would pretend that they were the sex to which they claim membership. That's nonsense. The transgender suicide rate is 40%. It is 40%. And according to the Anderson School at UCLA, it makes no difference. There's a study that came out last year. It makes no difference, virtually no difference, statistically speaking, as to whether people recognize you as a transgender person or not, which suggests there's a very high comorbidity between transgenderism, whatever that mental state may be, and suicidality. That has nothing to do with how society
Do you
treats you.
think it could be because of they're bullied at school?
No, I don't think that. I do not think that the discrepancy. I do not think the discrepancy. First of all, I'm against bullying of any sort. Okay, the idea that somebody would beat somebody up is terrible. Okay, as somebody who's viciously bullied in high school, I'm not a fan of bullying. But the idea that the normal suicide rate across the United States is 4%. The suicide rate in the transgender community is 40%. The idea that 36% more transgender people are committing suicide because people are mean to them is ridiculous. In fact, it's not even true that bullying causes suicide, according to a lot of studies. For example, in the black community, where the idea is supposedly that America is a racist society, blacks are bullied a lot. Okay, in the black community has significantly lower suicide rates than in the white community. In fact, in third world countries, the suicide rate is significantly lower than in first world countries. Suicide actually seems to be a privilege of the upper classes, if you actually look at it from a financial perspective. So the idea that suicidality is directly a result of people like me saying, no, men are not women and women are not men, it's not true. It's also...
Do you think it doesn't impact their identity at all, or their depression, or how they feel about themselves?
I think the idea that you're going to sacrifice the entire society's proper definition of sex because you think that there is in legal terms, somebody with an eggshell skull, meaning that somebody who has a pre-existing condition that makes them more susceptible to criticism, that is not a way to run a society. You can't sacrifice truth because some people are going to actually suffer because of the truth.
Okay. If that was definitely the case when it came to literally how everybody felt on literally everything ever, our legal systems, it would be so wishy-washy and there would be no foundation. If everything was based off of how we felt, there has to be truth. There has to be mode of logic that people can use as a foundation to then better the society that we live in. I am not saying that you should go out and bully anybody that thinks that they're transgender or thinks that whatever that they're really a girl when they're a boy. Don't bully them, because that's not what we're supposed to do. That's not what we need to do. But at the end of the day, it's still wrong for the other side to have us change our definition of what it means to be X, Y, and Z because of how they feel. Their feelings are just that. They're feelings. They're not logic. They're not truth. And once you start replacing feelings with truth, or truth with feelings, once you just start manipulating and everything going reverse and sideways, then we're going to start seeing a lot of problems. And the foundation of which any country stands on, if there's no truth, if there's no foundation, it's all based off of how we feel, then it should be a free-for-all. But I mean, then again, that is kind of what happens. I'm assuming that she's maybe doesn't really believe in God or anything like that, but I'm gonna take it there, and it's true. Without kind of that foundation, there is no foundation. If it feels good, do it, right? If it feels good, do it. Well, look what happens when you try to apply that very same thing to laws. Everybody's got to change how they say it, and for some people, you get severely reprimanded and in trouble if you even accidentally refer to someone as a girl when they're really a boy. Very offensive, very messed up.
Plus, there's no evidence whatsoever that the suicide rate would go down in the transgender community in any marked way if people just started pretending that men were women and women were men.
Right.
We're trying that experiment now. We'll find out whether it works. So far, no evidence.
Have you talked to a group of trans people at all instead of this group of like white people?
I'm more than happy to talk to a group of any people who will have me, but usually they protest me.
I mean, yeah, everyone's laughing, but I mean, I would be Ben Shapiro in that case too. I'd be looking kind of serious. I'm like, yeah, I would love to have a logical conversation, and where we can look at the data, where we can look at the facts, and really be able to sit down, critique, and dissect exactly what is being said here, rather than just use ad hominem attacks, because that's basically what that's basically what a lot of everything ends up coming to. A lot of these debates, a lot of these respectful debates, I should actually say, people resort to using ad hominem attacks. They attack the person instead of the evidence given, or they get their feelings hurt. Oh, you're wrong, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, how about, in order to actually understand where I'm coming from and where I'm coming from, let's actually attack my evidence, attack the words that I speak. Don't attack me just because you disagree with what I'm bringing to the table. Attack what I'm bringing to the table, or excuse me, I don't know why I said that, but attack what I'm bringing to the table. Don't attack the table, don't attack me. Okay? It's, and that's the problem with a lot of people that disagree in this day and age. And it doesn't even have to be left versus right. It doesn't have to be any of that. It could literally just be anything. A lot of people just start attacking the other person simply because they disagree with what they said. That's how you know we live in a very sensitive society. If a lot of people like this, young woman right here, were to take stuff like this to other countries, they would look at her and be like, first of all, what are you talking about? And second of all, why are you getting so mad just because you disagree with me? Not saying that every other country is better, but what I am saying is that we have the privilege of being so wrapped up in our own bubble that the product of that is, well, or the outcome of that, I should say, rather, is us being sensitive to literally anybody or anything that has a different opinion than what we believe. And it's very unhealthy. Because if you're not susceptible to learning new things, if you're not susceptible to maybe changing your mind sometimes and being corrected of what is wrong, then yeah, you're just believing your version of reality. But what is reality?
Last question about your Planned Parenthood thing. So why do you think it's not about controlling women's bodies and just about the separate life? Like, after the baby is born, how come when people don't care about them? They don't care where they end up in foster care, they don't care about the mother being poor? Like,
Okay, I do care about the mother being poor. I do care about foster care.
okay, why don't you advocate for that, though? Because
For
Planned
what?
Parenthood is supposed to prevent abortions.
Because, Planned Parenthood doesn't prevent abortions. They perform hundreds of thousands of abortions a year. They perform 300,000 abortions a year. They're the leading abortion mill in the United States.
Evidence for that, though.
That they perform 300,000 abortions a year from Planned Parenthood. That's my evidence.
Who goes to Planned Parenthood to actually Planned Parenthood? Just saying. Why do they call it Planned Parenthood when you're not going there with a plan to be a parent? I never understood why they called it that. Excuse me if I'm being ignorant. Maybe there's something I don't know. Once again, join the conversation. If there's something I don't know, please leave it in the comments below and talk to me about it. Let me know.
They don't dispute that. No one disputes that.
Like birth control and cancer.
I'm not anti-birth control.
I know.
Birth control is extraordinarily cheap.
That provides affordable birth control, which would in turn.
Okay, they're not the only people in America who provide affordable birth control. You can go get a pack of condoms down at the local CVS for $12.
Sounds great. People need medication too.
Yes, and it's true that most forms of birth control are also extraordinarily cheap on an annualized basis. Unless you have a severe problem, Though most birth control is very cheap and readily available. And I'm not against people going and getting that from Planned Parenthood. As you may have noticed, I'm mostly against abortion. If you want to go to Planned Parenthood and get a contraceptive, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah, but when it starts leaning towards killing babies because you messed up, then just saying. Just because we see in our eyes what is right and what is wrong in terms of killing, when you're holding the power of life and death in your hands, who's to say that that birth couldn't be used for something good? Not that every
I do care when you start killing babies.
Sorry, not that every single person, you know, yeah, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. I do definitely feel like humans are, as you guys haven't seen, obviously we're not perfect people, but that's just my take on it. Like I said, that we as humans, we don't really know what it means to hold the power of life and death in our hands. That's why we don't. God does, but at the same time, we've taken it upon ourselves to prematurely, I should say, take away lives because it doesn't necessarily suit us. You know, but as far as a rape victim, I mean, that's always been a tough question for me too. I definitely won't lie. That's always been something hard that I don't, you know, I always try to wrap my head around that one.
Killing babies. This is a problem for me.
But what about in rape and incest situations?
Okay, so this is okay. So here's the question.
It's different, yes.
I mean, this is a long conversation, and I'm enjoying it actually, which is why I'm allowing you to stay. But the question of rape and incest. First of all, important to note, rape and incest are not only a vast minority of abortion cases; they're an extraordinarily low percentage of abortion cases. So if we can first stipulate that all the other abortions are bad, then we can talk about that other one. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Are all the other abortions bad, or are those ones okay? And you're just using this as an excuse to make the other ones okay.
Yeah, exactly. Are you gonna start generalizing? Oh, you know, we're gonna talk about this and then apply it to all kinds of abortion. You can't do that. Yeah, I mean, I see where he's going with this, right? As soon as we can kind of break down and crack down in general, and not, well, generalize that all other forms of abortion that aren't rape and incest, can we talk about those ones? Those are irresponsible. Those are, you messed up by fooling around, by not using protection, and voila, out pop goes the weasel, you have a kid. You know what I'm saying? But what happens, can we agree that those are bad? Once we can at least agree on that premise, then we can go on and at least first stipulate, you know. Then again, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, well, all abortion is it's whatever. Let the woman do what she wants to do. And I'm just like, you can do whatever you want to do. You have the free will, but just because you do it doesn't make it right. Once again, put it in the comment section below. Join the conversation.
The first breath confers personhood. Okay, so if the baby is in the womb and is exactly the same size and has not yet breathed, and you take a knife and you stab the baby in the head, a fully formed 9-month-old baby, it is not a human. The only thing that makes it a human is when it takes a breath. It has to independently breathe.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to stick to it, yeah, because I'm also pro capital punishment and pro selective suicide. So I'm going to stick with it.
Selective suicide? Yeah, I assume you mean elective suicide.
I mean, elective suicide.
Elective suicide. Okay.
Yes, I'm not going to make someone commit suicide.
Right, okay, that's good, because that wouldn't be suicide, that'd be homicide. That, by the way, I'm for capital punishment too, because people who kill people should be killed, but babies who have not killed people should not. And this is my basic position on abortion. So let me just, but I'll get your answer because you're the one who asked the question. Are you willing to stipulate that all the other abortions are bad? Just rape and incest bother you?
I mean, no, I believe a woman should have the right to move
Got
on.
it. So it's an excuse, right? So it's an excuse so that we can say that, so that we can take the marginal case and then say that the marginal case applies to all cases. Okay, that's again faulty thinking. But if you want me to answer specifically on rape and incest, here is my basic answer: rapists should be castrated or killed. You shouldn't kill babies. End of story.
But are they ever castrated and killed? Most rapists don't even get convicted.
I agree, and that's usually the left side of the aisle because the left side wants to let them out after 5 years in prison. I want them castrated or killed. I'm telling you what my belief is. My belief is not public policy at the moment. But I think, would you agree with me on that one? Can we at least get a little agreement to finish this particular parlay? Okay, should rapists be castrated or killed?
Well, yes.
Okay, good, yeah, okay, we agree. Thanks.
Well, I do definitely think it interesting. That was a very interesting conversation. But yeah, like I said, these are just my thoughts. These are just my opinions. I know being a Christian is not too not too popular these days, but nonetheless, I don't really care about that. But anyway, leave your comment section down in the comment section below and join the conversation. What do you guys think? And if you like this video, I didn't realize it was 25 minutes long. Oof. But I didn't realize it was 25 minutes long. But anyway, if you guys did like what you see, please let me know what other videos you guys wanted to see in the comment section below. Join the conversation and let me know what you guys thought about this video. But anyway, thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.